This is CityCast Madison. I'm Bianca Martin, and here's what Madison's talking about. Today, it's Thursday, so of course it's time to dish on Madison's food and bar scene. And today we're focusing on a classic. You know it, you love it, you may have one for lunch today, the sandwich. So who does it best in Madison? With me to dig into this delicious conversation and give local shout-outs is Madison Magazine food editor Emma Waldinger. Emma, welcome back to CityCast Madison.
Thanks for having me, Bianca.
How are you doing? It's so good to see you.
It's good to see you, too. I actually just had a sandwich for lunch in prep for this conversation.
Well, I had a pretty good sandwich yesterday, which I'll mention later. But, I think it was Seneca who said having a good sandwich makes a good life. I'm just kidding. But y'all over at Madison Magazine recently published, quote, the ultimate guide to Madison's sandwich scene. You value the sandwich scene. It's understandable. Emma, first having gone through building those lists, how would you rate Madison's sandwich scene?
Oh, gosh. Well, to be honest, I haven't lived anywhere else extensively in the U.S., so I only know this based on traveling, especially in Wisconsin. I would say for Wisconsin, it's top-notch, certainly. I don't think any other city really has this beat. Milwaukee might be on the radar, too, but Madison has a really great sandwich scene. It might not rival New York City, but we've got a lot of variety, which is something to be proud of.
Yeah, it's so far away. I mean, who even is New York? But you can get Gotham bagels if you want a good New York sandwich. But, I wanted to ask, how did y'all make your definitive list? Because hilariously, I've heard the debate more than once about what is a sandwich. So is there a catch-all definition when it comes to sandwiches? Like, how do you decide what makes the list and what doesn't?
Yeah, and we actually had a feature in our story about this. Is it a sandwich was the question for that part of the article where we said, does a taco count? Does a burrito count? Does that giant spring roll that you get at the library mall, does that count? And so we're kind of like, you can define anything you want as a sandwich. But in this package specifically, we're looking at things that come between two slices of bread. So we're not really looking into too much about the burritos and the tacos and the hot dogs and the other things you could classify as a sandwich, because we could go on for issues and issues of Madison Magazine if we included all of those different parts. So for these purposes only, anything that comes between two slices of bread.
Okay, so no ice cream sandwiches. And I think just for good measure, there's so many good burger places. Burgers don't count. Is that fair? Did you guys include burgers?
We did not include burgers because also it feels like a subcategory of its own, doesn't it?
Yeah. So y'all out there listening, you have no idea how often this debate comes up in newsrooms across the country. What is a sandwich? But it happens a lot. I just want to ask you right off the bat, what's your favorite Madison sandwich?
Okay, I prepared because I have several. And there's a few that I really missed that also made the list because I just couldn't disclude them. That's how much they're still imprinted on my brain. So my favorite sandwich that still exists is the Lone Star at Mickey's Tavern. I really like sandwiches with tofu on them for some reason, which I know is not a popular opinion among people, but I think it makes for a really great sandwich base. And this one is kind of Southwest inspired. So it has sunflower shoots, chipotle, aioli, pickles, avocado, lettuce, tomato. It's just a really good sandwich. And for people who are scared of tofu, you don't even feel like you're eating tofu. So give it a go.
Yeah, I know a number of people who are fans of that sandwich. So great call out.
I love that one. And then I also really like two sandwiches that are on the Deliciousers lunch menu. They've got a Parisian jambon beurre, so it's a translation of a butter and ham sandwich, basically. It's got some brie on it, some cornichon, and it's served on a baguette. It's really delicious. And then I also really like their chicken sandwich, which kind of has a Japanese spin on it. It's got togarashi on it. It's like a Japanese 7-spice and then some chili crisp mayo as well, Napa cabbage, and I always ask for extra pickles on it because I think that's the best way to have it.
I also always ask for extra pickles. I haven't had that sandwich though, but in general, I didn't know you were a pickle girl. I love to learn this.
That's a whole sidebar here, but I would say that any sandwich that I order in town, if it doesn't come with pickles, I don't really want it. Like it has to have a pickle on the side, or it has to have pickles on it. Pickles need to be somewhere.
I'm also instantly, immediately so deeply grateful that you're the person I'm talking to about Madison sandwiches, because I did not know that about the French sandwich, the ham and butter at the Delicious because I love that type of sandwich. And
Same.
when I go back to Chicago, I go out of my way to get the French sandwich that is like that. So
Hmm.
these are really awesome recommendations. I'm so glad that you're here. All right, so now we've heard your favorites, which are already fire. Let's dig into some of the top sandwich spots. Y'all
Okay.
wrote a list, starting off with lunch-oriented locales. Maybe, get folks inspired for their lunch break today. Let's kick off with a place that, until recently, was an East Side staple. It's now a West Side destination, but will soon again be an East Side staple. Talking about Alimentari. For folks who aren't familiar, why did Alimentari top your list? And what's their story in Madison?
Yeah, I think the thing about Alimentari being a sandwich destination is really interesting because when we talked to Dan and Enrique Bonanno, they were like, Alimentari was never meant to be known for its sandwiches. That was just going to be a side
And
part
they're
of
the owners, right?
They are the owners of Alimentari and the former owners of A Pig in a Fur Coat, which is the spot that will soon become a new Alimentari. And they wanted to open an Italian deli and grocery store that serves sandwiches, and that was never, the main intent of the grocery store. But it really has become their most popular offering. There's usually a line at lunchtime. Sometimes it's at the door. They have kind of a standard offering of sandwiches that are all based around different meats. And then they have a rotating monthly special, but it stays pretty standard most of the time. And people keep coming back for sandwiches there time and time again.
I know this is not a sandwich because it's circular, but I also really love their cannolis.
Hey, that could be in our sandwich argument. Is a cannoli a sandwich?
Yeah.
It's a vessel, right?
It's a vessel. It's pretty close to a sandwich. But yeah, they are really killing it in the sandwich game. Next up, Caseta Kitchen and Counter. The way people talk about Caseta around town, like I would think that it's from Marhala, like it is, or Valhalla. For folks who aren't familiar with Caseta, can you give us a rundown on them and what makes their sandwiches so good?
Yeah, I don't know what the special sauce is there, but it is consistently one of the most beloved and busy sandwich spots in downtown Madison. It's right off the Capitol Square, which maybe contributes to that busyness or that visibility. But they have really standard sandwiches, but they have a different special every day of the week. And I think that's what makes it interesting for people is you can come back every week and there are different exciting specials to try. I've also heard that their sea salt chocolate chip cookies are amazing.
Which is so good with the sandwich.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe that's part of what has people coming back, but I know they have like mastered their standard sandwich lineup and they got every single one right. And so people are always going for those.
Yeah, and the ingredients are very fresh. And the people
Yep.
who are always like, Bianca, how have you not had caseta yet? Are people who like work in the food industry. It comes highly recommended. So that makes sense. Let's stay downtown. Another downtown spot that I think some folks might not even know that they serve sandwiches is Fromagination, which was my go-to when I worked on the Capitol and would probably top my list. Can you describe their sandwiches?
Yeah, so it's a cheese shop, right? So obviously most of their sandwiches have really good cheese in them as the base. And I think most sandwiches do need some cheese to be considered a good sandwich. So it's a good place to start.
We're in Wisconsin, aren't we?
Yeah, right? For sure. They've got, a signature sandwich and it's just smoked turkey, brie, and cranberry relish. It's super simple, but it's also like a super classic combination that works. But surprisingly about Fromagination is they even have a vegan sandwich. So it's a cheese shop. They do cheese-based sandwiches, but they're still making it accessible to everyone. Their vegan sandwich has a basis of hummus, which is kind of like the cheese of the Mediterranean.
Heck yeah. Okay. We're in
I don't know if that's true. Maybe
from imagination. No. No, I see that. I mean, honestly, I just looked at a recipe that was recommending using hemp hearts for rice. I mean, you can make things whatever you want them to be, honestly. But I think my favorite, I don't remember the name, but it had a green apple and a certain cheese.
Yes.
It's so good.
Yes, that's their pasture harvest sandwich. And I think
Yes.
that Granny Smith apples as an ingredient on a sandwich is so underrated.
It's a game changer. It's like level up your sandwich. I don't know. I had never had that combination before until Formagination, and then it would bring me back. And also, I feel like if it was like a rosemary mayo or something, the whole sandwich combination is a dream. So, Formagination, we love you. The last lunch spot that I want to talk about is one that I've shouted out as a Madison strip mall hidden gem on the podcast. So over on the east side, close to Monona, Meat People Butcher. And they do a sandwich special on Thursdays, and those babies sell out fast. In fact, when I brought it up on the podcast, I went in there the next Thursday, and the line was insane. And I told one of the owners, Jenny, that I mentioned on the podcast, she's like, Bianca, you literally were swamped. Like, people like are really excited to come in because they already have their regulars. It is a fantastic sandwich that they do on Thursday. So Emma, can you share any details there and why this spot is so hot?
Yeah, I think this one was really fun to report because Pip Freeman, who is co-owner with his wife Jenny Grieb, is such a character.
Yes. So smart, so lovely.
So smart, so lovely. So he bakes bread for the sandwich every week. It changes week to week. They never repeat a sandwich, which is so fun. And they started selling like 24 sandwiches, and now it's like 120 every week, and they sell out so quickly. I have heard that if you subscribe to their newsletter, on Wednesday night, they send out a hint about the sandwich. So if you want to be in the know about whether it's worth it or not, which it sounds like it's worth it every week, no matter what the sandwich is. But if you want to know what it is, subscribe to their newsletter.
Can verify, subscribed. It's true. You can find out what it is in advance and be ready. Let's talk about some specific sandwiches. You started out with a Mickey's Tavern sandwich over on Willie Street. They're not only home to the Lone Star and Sexy Fries, but also the, quote, world's greatest sandwich, which I just had yesterday. It's kind of like a BLT with a fried egg sandwich. Do you think it earns its name?
I mean, I think it's interesting because it's based on an Adam Sandler movie from the 2000s. So when we wrote the story in Madison magazine, I had always wondered why it was called the world's greatest sandwich. You know, you don't just give that name to any sandwich. There's got to be some reason behind it. And it turns out Gil Altschul named it the world's greatest sandwich because there's a scene in that movie where Adam Sandler, who plays a chef, makes a sandwich. And it became known as the world's greatest sandwich after the movie aired. It wasn't even a part of the movie, but famous chef Thomas Keller in the deleted scenes teaches Adam how to make this sandwich that he thinks he would make for himself after a long day working in the kitchen. And it's, you know, just a BLT with cheese and a fried egg. But I kind of get it. I love a BLT, and I feel like a fried egg and cheese makes everything better too. So I would say it's probably up there in a top 10 sandwich list.
I am so stoked to know. I did not know that. I just ordered the sandwich, and I have the same questions. I didn't know this background with Adam Sandler and the rest. That is so fun. And Gil's the owner, right, at Mickey's?
So Gil, his family owns Mickey's Tavern. His stepmother, Jane Capito, was the owner, and she unfortunately passed away a few months ago. I believe it's still in their family currently.
Lazy Jane's. Yeah.
Yes, Lazy Jane's Cafe.
So it's in the family. So, yeah, I just wanted to clarify for anyone who hadn't heard their name. Okay, so we've talked about the world's greatest sandwich. One spot in our city that I feel like doesn't get enough attention is Hot Lunch over on East Johnson. Their hot sandwiches are a treat. I mean, they've got good sandwiches across the board, but I love their pulled chicken sandwich, and their hot beef with au jus is a delight.
Yeah, you know what? I haven't had a chance to try hot lunch yet, which
Ooh.
is crazy because we've reported on them before. I haven't written it myself, but I've heard amazing things about their vegan banh mi sandwich. And it's awesome that a vegan sandwich has pull like that, but it sounds right up my alley because it's a sandwich that has tofu on it, which from my track record is something I would really like. So I know I need to get over there and try it.
Yes, and the location is great. Inside is it's like 90s nostalgia, and there's Ninja Turtles, and they always have movies playing like Jumanji and, Robin Williams, and it's a good vibes, and the food is really good. So the team here sometimes gets over there and gets some hot lunch. Are there any sandwiches from the list that we've missed or you think deserve a shout out that we haven't covered yet?
I think we definitely need to talk about Stoltze's Deli and Bakery. They closed their dining room last year, but they're still doing sandwiches every week. They kind of brought them back recently, I believe, maybe last summer. And so now they're doing sandwiches on the weekends, which is really exciting because Stoltze's has really good sandwiches and they make great bread. I really miss their Judy, Judy, Judy sandwich from when they were open as a dining room. It was like a creamy coleslaw grilled cheese with tomato and a side of
Ooh.
chips. And so I'm holding out for when they bring that back as a special. But I know that they have been bringing back their Reuben and some other favorites.
That sounds really good. Who's Judy? Judy Garland? That's the first thing I thought of. Who's Judy, Judy, Judy?
That's the first thing we thought of too at the magazine, but we found out it's named after owner Neil Stahlborger's wife.
Oh, you gotta love something named after a wife or husband. I'm there for that. I love that. My go-to at Salsi's is their turkey club, and I will get that if I need food for all day because it's a big sandwich. Like it is stacks on stacks on stacks. Like that is a very true club, and I adore that sandwich. So I'm glad you brought up Stalsi's. A couple more that I wanted to mention is Fraboni's Italian Specialties and Delicatessen. They are just a beautiful family business, and I love going in there. There's great community vibes, and everyone goes up to the deli and like waits for their sandwich together. I love the hot meatball sandwich there. It's really great. My partner's a big fan of the Otto, which has layered meats on meats. And then, my other sandwich go-to, a regular, is from Madison Sourdough. It's a breakfast sandwich, but it's a croissant and egg and like you can get a little avocado spread on it, and that's really good. So those are some like for sure's that need to be mentioned. I have ones that don't need to be mentioned that I will mention, but I don't know if I inspired you. Any other more thoughts that came to mind?
Well, I think Madison Sourdough is another one of those places like Fromagination where you don't necessarily expect there to be a sandwich offering there if you've never stepped inside the place. I know a lot of people pick up their Madison Sourdough bread from Willie Street Co-op or a different outpost, but if you've never actually been to Madison Sourdough, they have a really good sandwich menu, not to mention other pastries and coffees and other things like that, but it's a great lunch spot. I would recommend it if you haven't been there before.
Yes. I mentioned Gotham bagels at the top. I don't know if we're allowed to talk about bagels here, but I'm just going to mention them. Some people, everyone has their opinion on Gotham bagels. It's a go-to for me. It is a go-to. And I think it's really fun because they've got so many options for breakfast bagels and like lots of fun names. And I don't know. I really like them for breakfast sandwiches. Some other mentionables, Parthenon on State Street. I love their gyros. Like, that's a go-to spot. A gyro is a sandwich you don't think about every day. And then this is the one that's like, I don't have to mention this, but Cousin Subs. I go to Cousin Subs. You will catch me on a Cousin Subs in Madison. I don't know if you have any chains that you like.
That's so interesting. I was just talking to my brother the other day. He was like, one of his friends told him that his favorite sub spot was Subway. And he was like, I had to disown this friend. Because because of the like sandwich chains, Subway was his choice. But we had this conversation about like what's the best place to get a sub sandwich that's kind of at like a chain restaurant. And I was like, oh, Melio's. That's Madison based. That's where I would get my sub sandwich from.
Yes, that's Haley's favorite, our EP on the show. I love Melio's. There's Panera bread. Panera has sandwiches I get every now and then if you've got, like money from your company to get a lunch.
I know there are a lot of Jimmy John's stands out there too.
Okay, I'll share my Jimmy John's story. Okay, so that was the big thing. Is I think the chains. I went to those more when I was a Badger, when I was at UW Madison. Like I went to Potbelly's too much. Jimmy John's, I went to so much. I became addicted to their turkey Tom sandwich. And I lived kind of close to State Street. And I went so frequently that one day I tried to go at 9:30 a.m. and they were closed, but it was
Certainly.
a zombie habit of mine to just go and like get food from Jimmy John's. And I knew the guy working there. He happened to be from Baraboo, the town I grew up in. And he looked at me and he was like, "No, I'm not letting you in." He has made fun of me for that for years. But I was like, yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. I have a problem. Clearly.
He's like, you gotta get that addressed.
Yeah.
I want your business, but not like this.
Yeah, like literally get it together, Bianca. Oh my gosh. This has been so fun. Well, I feel like we've covered great ground, and I want to give you a fun one before I let you go. If you could build a sandwich that represents Madison in some way, what would you put on it? You know, some iconic Madison eats.
I thought long and hard about what direction to take this question in because I do take the fun question very seriously. Haley had suggested you could build it on a baguette to represent the isthmus as her example. So I kind of went in two directions with this. And the first one was like, how much of the worst stuff in Madison can I cram onto a sandwich? Like it's got blue-green algae as a condiment, and the filling is like parking tickets.
Unwell. I'm really looking forward to the name of this one. Unwell could be a name for this.
The filling is like parking tickets and the mucky snow sludge that's all over the city in February when you're just like sad to live here.
You're a writer, Emma. This is good.
The meat, I've been having a lot of conversations, especially with family lately, about the Midwest's unseasoned meat problem. And so I think it would have unseasoned like white chicken on it with like just, no sauce, no seasoning, nothing. And then I was like, you know what? I've got to redeem the sandwich a little bit. I think any Madison sandwich has to be on Estella's hot and spicy cheese roll. So this is a disgusting filling on a delicious roll.
Such a creative choices here. And I wonder, maybe we would make Rob Thomas, our newsletter editor, eat it. He eats weird foods and writes about it sometimes. That's really incredible. Any edible thoughts?
I did actually. I did take it so I took it in the other direction because I was like, okay, if I'm going to make a disgusting sandwich, I have to make a good sandwich too.
Okay, I'm in love with you. Keep going.
They're both on Estella's hot and spicy cheese roll because like I said, any sandwich has to be on that. But then it would have like one of Hook's like sharper aged cheeses because Hook's cheese is so Madison and they've been a staple at the farmer's market forever. It's got to have Hook's cheddar. For the condiment, I would do like a beer mustard or something from the National Mustard Museum because we do have the National Mustard Museum here. So we've got to shout them out. For veg, I feel like any classic sandwich in Madison has got Vitruvian Farms greens on it.
Yeah.
Like, Vitruvian Farms is the place to get greens in Madison. They're used everywhere. They're on the menu. They're like ubiquitous. And then for the meat, it would just be anything that's like sourced sustainably and locally because Madisonians care a lot about that. And so it doesn't have to be a specific kind of meat, but it came from like the Co-op or Meat People Butcher, the Conscious Carnivore or something like that.
Something local. Hey, that's incredible. Great work, Emma. Can I just throw something? The only thing I would throw onto yours is maybe from the farmer's market, like a spicy jalapeno jelly. I don't know if it would work, but I feel like that,
I think based on this whole conversation about how anything goes with sandwiches, I think we can make it work.
Yeah, and we'll put some cannoli cream in there. Just for kicks and giggles.
Pistachios on the top.
Incredible. Emma, this has been so fun. Thank you for coming on CityCast Madison to really lay out Madison's sandwich scene. This was wonderful.
Thanks for having me. And if anyone wants my secret recipe for the nasty sandwich, just feel free to follow up.
That was Madison Magazine food editor Emma Waldinger. That's all for today. here on CityCast Madison. I'm your host, Bianca Martin. Don't forget, you can support the show and get great perks by becoming a CityCast Madison neighbor at membership.citycast.fm. And hey, if you enjoyed today's show, why not share this episode with a classic in your life? Or an adventurous eater. Maybe they'll take on that Madison sandwich. All right, we'll be back tomorrow morning with more stories from around the city. Until then, take good care and thanks for listening.